All right. Yes, we are live. You know what I'm saying? Welcome, welcome. Peace and blessings to everybody out there on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. We're going to have a special interview today. Um, I have the pleasure of bringing this brother on for an interview. And thanks for everybody. I see more people joining. Thank you. Shout out. If you guys could just kind of shout out you're on here, you're viewing, where you're viewing from. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, it's a very special uh, guest interview we have today. Um, I don't want to talk too much about him. I just want to bring him on. So without further ado, let's bring on my brother, Jonathan Lanier, aka
D-
Zambu,
DJ Afrika Zambu.
DJ slash Bboy, Afrika Zambu, correct?
Correct.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, man, it's a pleasure to have you on here. Um, I myself, I'm like I was explaining to you on the phone. I'm a third generation Zulu King, part of the mighty Zulu Kings under Alien S. And so, we have heard the name for many years, and we've heard some of the stories. And it's a pleasure to be speaking with you. And I'm really excited about this. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. If you could just kind of tell us, maybe start with your background, where you were born, when you were born, and what was it like for you just growing up?
Okay. I was born March 15, 1960. And I finished school. I went to high school in the Bronx. That's where everything started at. So how I got started, I was dancing a long time ago before I even came to the Bronx. Family members was always having me and my sister have competition dancing and stuff like that. They would give us money. So that's how things, started for me. But I also like to play music. So I kind of felt for both sides. But on the b-boy tip, I was always kind of swifty with my feet. And I did take up a little karate. So that kind of helped me be a little more, mobile. And I thought I was the best at what I did. That's the way I felt anyway. Uh, I always had challenges that people wanted to, challenge me and break dance and stuff like that. I always stepped up to it, but when I wasn't doing the floor, when I wasn't breakdancing, I was DJing.
Got you. Okay, so let me go back. You said you were born in the Bronx. Um, what part of the Bronx were you from? Are you from Bronx River, or did you move there?
Well, I moved to Bronx River. I was living on the Longfellow Avenue across the bridge from Bronx River. It was pretty rough over there. There was nothing going on. A lot of chaos over there. So mom's, she got moved us out. We moved to Bronx River. It was a nice spot, everything was good there. Uh, and then it just, turned into something else. But I enjoyed the moment that I had there, the years that I had back in 1970.
Got you, got you. Okay, and so you moved to Bronx River in 1970,
Right.
and so you said you were born. When were you said you were born?
1960.
1960. Okay, so that makes you 10 years old when you get to Bronx River.
Right.
And so, what was your first recollection of hip hop in general, whether it's b-boying or breaking or DJing or anything that you would consider hip hop?
Well, I got a good taste of it when I seen a couple of cats from Harlem and Cool Herc and stuff like that. They were doing a little something. They was getting into the movement, and everybody was just like kind of doing a little hustle, the bump, stuff like that. I would watch a lot of Soul Train. I was always getting involved in dancing. I really loved the dancing part of it.
Got you. Got you. Okay. So, what about um, what about let's say Zulu? How did Zulu come about from your point of view, from your perspective, your recollection?
Right. Okay. Africa Bambaataa had they went to Africa and got this book and everything, and we had picked out some names. So everybody had a African Zulu name, and I picked out mine, which would be Zambu would be Holy Prince, and I went with that because it felt good to kind of be a little prince or something like that. Back in the day, you always wanted to be a little extra. So uh, the Zulu Nation came right like after the Black Spades.
Okay.
And I'm thinking around maybe 72, 73.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
I was in the baby spade.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you say you were a baby Sibade, and you said Zulu started about 72, 73. Now, obviously it didn't start out as this huge organization, right? Probably started out small. Can you speak on, like what it was like when it first started and how it grew?
Well, if I could get the dates right, I believe it was maybe a little later than what I was saying. Could have been maybe 73, somewhere around there where the spades had, broke up, and Africa Bambaataa, he really started the Zulu Nation.
Hmm.
But I kind of started the Zulu Kings, which was the break dance, the B-boy thing.
Got you, got you. Okay, all right, perfect. So talk about that. Let's talk about the Zulu Kings. So now you said that when the Spades broke up, it could be give or take 73.
Right,
Spades break up. Afrika Bambaataa starts the Zulu thing, and
right.
now you're saying you started the Zulu Kings. Talk about how the Zulu Kings specifically came about, and was it before or after Afrika Bambaataa had the Zulu thing going?
Okay. It was after the Zulus. So we was a break dance crew that it was just a couple of us, and we were basically from the same building because I had started a lot of that movement because I was there in Bronx River, I believe, before any one of them. So the group, I picked out five. I can't say if it was the Jackson Five. Everybody followed along with a five.
Right.
So five of us, and we all had our names and everything like that. So I said the Zulu Masters because I told you I was into the karate thing.
Mm,
So we changed it to the Zulu Kings.
okay. Okay. Um, so all right. So there's five people in the building. You said, and you guys were already dancing together. Would you say?
Yes, Bronx River 1609. It was about five of us in the building, and we would all get together, and we would kind of battle each other, and we would
Hmm.
compliment each other on our moves.
Hmm.
Everybody had different styles and things like that. Then we just came up with that name, and then we just followed Bambaataa. He was playing out the window at the time, and we would be breaking out there, and then people come from different areas, and we battle.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Okay. So now you said this is something that I think a lot of people don't know. Um, when you guys first started, you was dancing together, and then you guys came up with the name. So you're saying the name was your idea, and the first name that you guys came out with was Zulu Masters. Was that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And okay, so you guys are the Zulu Masters. Um, now let's see. Now you said you started after that. You started battling people from different people. Can you talk about some of the battles? who were those people that you guys were battling, and what were some of those battles like?
Well, we would go to different parties like Bronxdale, Soundview, Castle Hill. It was more like the projects against projects and b-boy dancing. But more or less, we cut the fighting out and we went towards just battling each other on the floor. So we had some pretty nice people. I can't really name everybody, but like I said, Bronxdale, Soundview, there was like a lot of smooth people out there doing some good stuff. But we was on the map. We was on the map being the Zulu and being the Zulu King, Zulu Masters, and Zulu King. We did some talent shows, and we won, evidently, because we were dancing to Apache, and we all had our capes and dancing floor routine. And the thing about that is that we got recognition for that, but when we did have people that wanted to join, we had a table set up, and we had people who were actually, doing tryouts. And we were pretty hard on people. It wasn't easy. And me, Ahmed, Aziz, Kusa, and Skirpy we all was there doing our thing, and we were just admiring other people and trying to get people involved in it. But it was just the main five who started the group.
Got you, got you. Yeah, someone had just asked, who were the original five? Can you? I know you just said it. Can you say it again?
Ahmed, Kusa, Aziz, and Skirpy, which was Shaka. I think he was, and me, Zambu.
Okay, cool, perfect. All right. So now you said that you went to different projects, maybe different projects came over to Bronx River, what have you. Um, can you remember, um, like, if possible, any names that stick out or that come to mind, like more than anybody else? Was there anybody notable or rememberable that you say, "Hey, man, I remember this guy. He was nice," or that person, or any battles that really stick out that you can remember?
Well, I think Powwow and Marcus, at first, I don't think they was a Zulu.
Hmm.
They came from another area, and they came over, and I think they battled us too. They were really nice. I
Hmm.
mean, they took out a few people. I mean, it's just the way it goes. You don't win them all. And then you had Sambu, you had my man Black and Winston. I remember those two exactly because they was kind of like, one was light skinned and one was dark skinned. So they call him Black and they call him Winston, which they call him Curly. He's not alive today. God bless.
Hmm.
Rest in peace. But they was just really nice on the floor with it. And the rest of it really, it's kind of vague because I was always on the DJ set.
Right, right. That makes sense. Okay. So, all right. So, before I ask you some stuff about the DJ, DJing, let me ask you a couple more questions about the Zulu Masters who turned into Zulu Kings. Do you remember when the Zulu Masters turned into the Zulu Kings?
Whoa, that's well. I think what happened was I think either Bambada or maybe one or two of our guys didn't like the Masters. They wanted to be named something else, or Bambada came in and he must have looked at the books. I don't know. Came up with, there's no Zulu Masters here. It got to be a Zulu King. We see Zulu Kings, so we're gonna name your kings,
Hmm.
and the name. So,
Okay. All right. Okay. So, what can you say about the Little Zulu Kings? Now, from what I remember, or from what I know, they were around the same time as you guys, or did they come a little bit after?
uh, they came they came right along the same time because I even had a Puerto Rican guy named he wanted to be Little Zambu.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't no, racial thing going on there. You want to be Lil Zambu? Bet. You know, I welcome you.
Wow, that's dope. I like that. That's cool. So, okay, so you had the little Zulu Kings who were obviously younger than the regular Zulu Kings slash Zulu Masters, and they were around the same time. Now, do you you mentioned little Zambu,
Right.
and you was there anybody else that you can remember that was part of the little Zulu Kings?
Okay, his name was Peter, the little Zambu that was with me.
Got you. Okay,
Right. That was the little sidekick.
got you.
No,
Okay,
I can't name anybody else. Really. I may have left the scene at that time. I had some business to take care of, but I heard about they was getting a group together. But
okay. All right. What about the Zulu Queens? Do you remember anything about the Zulu Queens? Can you say who they were or anything
yeah,
about them?
I remember Pepsi. God bless her. I think she passed to rest in peace. Whoa. I mean, it must have been a whole bunch of them girls, man. I mean, even I tried to get with them myself, but I remember Pepsi because she just had that nice shape and everything. Ooh, man,
Okay. All right. Now, going back to you said that you guys did the talent shows, and you mentioned cape. Can you talk more about that? Did you guys have like a costume, or was it just a cape, or how did you dance in the cape? What was? Can you just talk about that?
oh, okay. We actually had we was going by some store which she did some alterations or she did some clothing. Just I don't know. It was one of them backyard stores. We went in and we kick it and everything like that. Back then, it was pretty ghetto-ish, and we just trying to find a way where we can save a little money because we were packing bags at the supermarkets, and it didn't. We didn't really have a whole costume. We just had the cape, and it was a blue cape, and it had the white letters say Zulu Kings. And we would come on stage, and we would just, like the Dracula type thing, and we all would come on the stage one at a time, following each other. Then we make the circle. The circle is always a famous thing to any b-boy. And while the music was playing, we all get in a circle. We all kind of break up a little bit, and then we go in the middle where the stage is set so where everybody can see who's the audience, and we'll do our routine. And then when we finish our routine, kind of slide back and let the next person go.
Oh, cool, cool. That's what's up. So you're saying that each and every person had like a little set that their own little routine that they would do,
Exactly.
and that was like their signature move, you could say something like that.
Right. Exactly.
Got you, got you. Okay, and so can you talk a little bit about what everybody's specific style or their routine was like? Like the five guys that you mentioned. I imagine that every routine was like a little different. Like,
Right.
can you speak on a little bit like what actually they did? Was it mostly dancing on top, standing up? Did most of you guys hit the floor, or was it a combination? What was some of the signature moves and the styles? Like, paint a picture in my head because there were no videos and no photos. So I'm thinking about break dancing in 2025. Take me back to 1975 when you guys were the Zulu Kings doing talent shows. What did break dance look like?
Well, uh, everybody got they own style, but we would deal with the floor routine. We got to make sure the floor routine is up to par, and then once we get the floor routine, because we have to follow the beat of the music, we got to get the people involved in this, and then we do our floor routine, and then people pause and they wait and see what all you gonna do, and do everybody got like Mr. Freeze or Puppet Man, things of this nature, crazy legs. I really didn't have no signature move. I would call myself like being Jordan, you know what I'm saying, in dance floor. I would just make up some stuff. I ain't really had no basic, because if I had a basic move, the next person I battle, he's gonna be waiting on that move. So I
Hmm.
up with something different all the time.
Got you. Got you. Okay. So you were kind of spontaneous. You kind of made up your moves on the spot, whereas other people had like moves that they had planned out or practiced.
They had practice. Exactly. That would
Okay.
make it different.
Right.
That would make
Right.
it
Right.
different.
Got you. Okay. So, do you remember anybody like any of the other guys' signature moves that they had practiced? Like, cause I know I heard about Ahmed. And he used to do motorcycle um, routine or what have you. Do you remember that, or do you remember anybody else's signature move from the group?
No, not really. It's been a long time, Jack. I I can't tell you who had what. I know Ahmed had them crazy legs. He would always do some kind of something with his legs. I just couldn't understand that part. But
Okay.
it seemed to work out.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I heard that Ahmed was also he used to go by crazy leg Billy or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Crazy
yeah.
leg Billy. He was like like before Crazy Legs.
Four crazy legs, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, that's cool. All right, so all right, so let me ask you this about the DJing and stuff. How did you get into DJ? Now, from what I understand, you were one of Afro Bambaata's partners or one of his first partners. How did you get into DJing? What made you get into DJing? Were you always DJ, or did you start dancing first and then transition into DJing?
Right. That's what happened. I was, Bambaataa, he got a set, one speaker, one turntable, and he was playing out his window. I don't know what made him do that, but anyway, he seen a plan. It was in, in his the way he wanted to present himself, I guess, because I don't know what was going on, but anyway, he was playing the music outside, and like I said, I like to dance, so we kind of danced outside, in front of the side of the building. And the crazy thing about it, I was inquiring about who was playing the music, this and that and other. So being that we was the baby spade, and they would have meetings, the young spades and the black spades, they would have meetings, and we really couldn't go to them meetings, but they always had our back. So I went to his house, and he had that one turntable in a big mixer, and look like amplifier type stuff, like you playing guitars and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
It was called Earth. But anyway, he had got another turntable, didn't know nothing about what was going on. I always had the vision of trying to put things together. And I asked, he said, well, can you make sound come out these speakers? So ever since when I made that sound come out, he said, well, you think you want to play with me or something like that? I said, yeah, I'll do that. So then that was I was introduced to the DJing. Then the Africa thing going to Africa and then coming back with the name, then it stuck. I was his main partner.
Okay. All right. So you're saying that you actually helped him set up his equipment when he famously put his speakers out the window, and then that's when like the whole movement of hip hop started in Bronx River.
And Bronx River.
Yeah. So you're one of the people that actually helped him set his equipment up. And so that's when he kind of suggested to you, hey, would you like to join me in playing his music?
Yes, sir. That's how it all started. And it was nobody else but me and Bambaataa. It was nobody else. Everybody else was looking on. You know how we have the ropes that nobody can come over, across the rope, or something like that. That's what was happening. You just couldn't come across the rope. I mean, you got these other DJs that they saying this and that, and I don't know why. Because I'm 65 years old. You're still a baby.
Hmm. Okay.
So that came along with Bambaataa. And we started, covering the records up because they had, everybody had a different sound, just like everybody got signature breakdance.
Hmm.
So when other DJs come on, they peeping the record label, and they trying to where'd you get it from? We would like to have whatever the case may be. I didn't get into the technicalities of all that. I just came to the party and I DJ. Sometimes I just hook up the system. When I first started, I hooked up the system, but when it just got where I don't think I was getting paid enough money, so I would come to the party a little late, and I'll be around the girl, and things led to another. So uh, we were still doing things together.
Okay. All right. So when you started dancing, you wasn't DJing at first, but
Right,
then when Bam first started DJing, because when he played out the window, that was like his start for DJing for him.
right.
Um, so
He
so
had one turntable. He had one turntable, so he wasn't DJing. He was just playing music. When he got the other turntable, that's when I came in because he didn't know how to hook it up.
okay, so you said he had one turntable, right? Um, that's interesting. So did you help him get the second turntable, or when did that happen? How did he get the idea of getting two turntables?
Now, Bambaataa wasn't the first to come out with the DJ stuff. You had other people that was already doing little club stuff and making things pop with two turntables. So that's how he really got the idea. He didn't come up with two turn. He learned from other people.
Okay. So was he still playing out the window when he got two turntables, or was that when he got two turntables? Was that when he started playing in actual like spaces like gyms and center and all that?
Well, the practice took place in the house, and
Hmm.
then and it still played out the window. And then like he took it to another level to put it outside of the window, the actual set itself. And then that took off to where they got a community center. We went in the community center. I guess he asked for permission or paid some money. Played in there and played in the back. So we had people come from all over the different projects and areas to the parties. Whenever they could hear music, they it seemed like they just come. So Cool Herc was doing a lot of stuff already, and Grandmaster Flash was always down with it.
Got you. Got you. Okay. All right. All right. So let me ask you this: When what kind of records did you play? Um, Now, did you go shopping for records? Did you come with your own records, or did you kind of used to play Bambaata's records, or how did that work?
Okay, Bambaataa was in record clubs all over the world. It seemed like he had about 600 or 700 crates of records, and he
Wow.
might play just a little bit of the album with the break. So my records was, as you all know, the B-boy breaks. So when it's time for the B-boy break, I'm trying to think of what song he played, but he would call me on the microphone, and Mr. Biggs, he would call me on the microphone and say, come up front. So that was my time to take the stage on the set, on the ones and twos. So really, I was just a mixologist. I wasn't no scratcher, really. I scratched a little bit, but I was thinking you messing up the records.
Right.
So I didn't learn how to do the scratching until later on. But then that's when I stepped out the game altogether.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. Did you have your own records, or was basically was you working with Bam with all the records that Bam was that at your access to all those records?
Oh yeah, Bambaataa, like I said, he was connected to all the record clubs, underground stuff like that. He was real thirsty, so
Hmm.
like I said, he had a bunch of songs. I didn't have to buy nothing. If I bought something, it'd be for the house, and I scratch them all up if I wanted to. But I would really try to take care of his stuff like it was my own.
Okay. Okay. Now, what about the equipment that you guys used? Do you remember what kind of equipment, like what type of turntables you had, what kind of mixer, maybe even speakers that you guys use? You said you used amplifier, but what about some of the other equipment?
Okay, basically, like I say it was like a guitar type thing, and the name of it was Earth. He had, not that many. He had 15s. He had like four of them in like a case, like and he had two of them. He had some tweeters. He had some tweeters. He really didn't have much. We were just screaming to wake the crowd up, but we did have the music. So, you can't really sit in front of Bambotta's equipment because he really didn't have like ass kickers and stuff like that. He just had uh um you know band
Great.
group, and yeah, just he turning knobs at one time.
Okay.
Remember the knob to turn.
Right. So you just saying it's just like a home stereo turntable, and
Oh yeah. The turntable was big, BIC. They were
okay.
plastic.
Wow.
Yeah, we was out there. We was shooting pretty bad, man. I don't know. We should took donations or something. The Flash had a beatbox and all this kind of good stuff. You know what I mean? And the group was like dressed up almost. They were trying to, they were putting on the show as they were doing free party joints.
Got you. Got you. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So all right. So I got a couple questions here. A lot of people was commenting. Um, let me throw some of these questions at you. Um, somebody asked, when when did Bam go to Africa? What year?
What year you went to have?
I could actually answer this. He went to Africa. He went to Africa in 1975,
Okay.
and the reason why I know that is because it was documented in one of the museums in
Uh,
New York. His trip up to Africa, and so there's a lot of information out there about that that people can go look up. But he actually went to Africa in 1975. Now, as far as he was already called Africa Bambaataa before he went to Africa, so
right.
we know that. And so the inspiration for Zulu and all of that, it wasn't his Africa trip per se.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it probably had to do a lot with the movie that came out. There was a Zulu movie that came out, I think, in like the '60s that
Right. Right.
he was inspired by. But as far as we know, when the original Black Spade chapters, just like Zambu said, when they dispersed, that was when the Zulu was implemented. It wasn't the Zulu Nation yet. I think the Zulu Nation and all that came after he went to Africa. But just the Zulu, idea and stuff like that, that came before. So
Right.
would you that's from what I know. Do you have anything else to add to that or speak
Oh
on?
no, no. That's about sums it up because it was just the Zulus at first. Like you said, it was Africa Bambaataa. And I don't know if it was a DJ in front of that. I'm not sure about that, but I know it was Africa Bambaataa. He went to Africa. He came back Zulu. So eh, he didn't really have no Zulu nation until he
Mhm.
came back and he started that movement. And it's more or
Right,
less not fighting. It's just more or less using the music and the b-boy thing to bring people together.
right, right. Okay, cool. All right, that's what's up. All right. So another question somebody asked. Um, shout out to Pluto 774 TBB. He says, "Can you ask Zambu on any battles at 1, 2, 3?"
Oh yeah. Um, Disco King Mario. That's his spot over there. That's over there by Bronxdale. Um, we played there a couple of times. I mean, he got this guy named Jazzy J that came to our side. But Jazzy J and us battle, Disco King Mario. Mario has some awesome stuff, man. He has tremendous. I mean, I don't know the name of the system he had, but it'll blow you away. So I got on the turntables and I battled Jazzy J. And I ate Jazzy J up. He might not want to admit it, but the crowd, they make the decisions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Interesting. So, so you're saying that there was a battle between you and Jazzy J on the turntables at 123.
Right.
Okay. And what was that battle like? I mean, did you guys play like at the same time? Did one of you guys go first and then the other, or how did the DJ battle at that time, how did that go for you guys in 123?
Well, I think what happened, they got a petition that you'll block off. So you go on one side, you'll hear us. But when you first come in the door, you'll hear Disco King Mario. Then you could go through that petition. They got a door where you open up, one on this side, one on the other side, and you'll hear us, Africa Bambaataa, Zambu. So when everybody start migrating to one side, the other, because different music being played. Then like around what, maybe 12, maybe 1 o'clock. Then the battle start. Then they open up the middle, and we'll take turns playing.
Okay, so you're saying in the beginning when you walk in, they have a divider,
Right.
and then you're playing at one area and he's playing at the other area. And then when it's time for the battle, they take the divider out. And now, did you guys go at the same time, or did one play and then the other? And how did you decide who was the winner?
Okay. We take turns going. So you play the best music you got.
Hmm.
So I'm always going to have be something in the stash the way I'm going to come at you with different. I'm not coming at you the same way. That's not the way I operate. I'm gonna listen to you, and I see that you're playing the same thing over and over and over. So I'm gonna say, no, that don't sound, that ain't right. But I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna really try to rock you. I'm really trying to rock your ass. But anyway, excuse my French. But
Here it is.
everybody take their turns. So the crowd, like I said, they base it on what you do with the record, and I put in some outer space type stuff, and then I come in with the main jam, and then I just cut it up to where that's that beat that just I blended in. You will never know I changed it.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So you played. So when they took the divider out, you guys actually went head to head. You went one person went first, and the other person would go, and you kind of battle in terms of record, the type of records that you played, whether the crowd liked the records you played, but also what you did with the record and your overall presentation of the records and how you mix them. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's about right. We always looking for something different. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
it's up now to where they came up with the perfect beat. We was looking for that, so it wasn't any dispute about um, trying to get records you ain't never heard before.
Got you. Got you. Let me ask you this: Can you drop a couple names of some of the records that used to play that was like some of these bangers that would kind of like win these battles for you? Like you're saying, you battled Disco King Mario, and you play some records like maybe him or somebody else play like some of the same stuff over and over. You play something different, something unique. um what was some of those records that you used to play that was just like, I'm gonna get them with this record?
Well, like I said, it was a bunch of them. You know, Um, my main one is always going to be Apache with the bongos. The bongo album, you can see it. It seemed like the man is cutting the turntable, but he's actually playing bongos. That was my main cut. I would really try to get you on. And then it was Just Begun. Then it was Scratching. Then it was Dennis Coffee, Scorpio. Then
Hmm.
it was James Brown. You always got to throw James Brown in there.
Right,
So I, would-
right.
I would I would eat them up. I wouldn't even just try to cut into a record. I would play something like how the system is now. You could tap the middle keyboard and come up with a sound, and then you can go into your song.
Got you. Got you. Okay, so you kind of played like a lot of these hardcore b-boy anthems in right after one after the other, and you kind of mixed them in nicely and smoothly. Would you say like that was kind of like your style of how you kind of approached the battle?
Yeah, because like Africa Bambaataa, he was doing his thing with the disco and the hustle and whatever. I kind of felt that, but the Saturday Night Fever thing, I didn't really feel all that. So
Got
the
you.
beat thing is always the beat, the break beat in which is in the middle.
Okay, got you. All right. So and now, obviously, when you guys were battling, you're playing the b-boy anthems. So obviously, the b-boys are probably going crazy, you know. So, do you remember the b-boys getting down when you would play these records? And what was that like? Do you remember like who used to go crazy? You remember any b-boy battles popping off when in any of these moments?
Well, I heard of some battles going on, but the thing about that is that since I was always concentrating on the beat and what they like to dance to,
Hmm.
uh, I can't remember names. I'm not really good at remember names, but the thing about it is that, for instance, Shaft in Africa,
Yep.
I would I would come in with that. That'll be me. I'm coming in. You hear me? Then that's when everybody start getting together and opening up the crowd, and they try to find out who from where and who is the best dancer in that group.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Um, so I got a lot of questions here. Let me see if I can get to some of these questions. Um, okay. Let's see here. Somebody asked, does Zambu remember when they first started incorporating the infamous Zulu spins that everyone talks about in their dance? Do you remember the Zulu spin? I think some people may call it a spinning top. Do you remember that move? When did you see it? When was it implemented into breaking for you guys?
Uh, well, it was always like the spin around, and we couldn't figure how we need to do this. I think really that we seen somebody else do it, and we just try to perfect it. So when you do your spin, you'll go into the one leg, and then you put the other leg down, and you'll drop to the floor, and you spin so fast that hopefully you end up in the right place. That answer the
Hopefully,
question.
hopefully. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. All right. Someone said, did they ever DJ with clubmans? Clubmans. I'm
Who's
guessing that's. I'm guessing that's a turntable. Um,
no, I don't think so. No, at the beginning, or he's talking about somewhere in the middle.
I think he's just talking about back when your DJ days. Did you ever DJ?
No, I don't remember.
Okay. All right. This person says, does Zambu remember? Oh no, I already read that one. Okay, I read that one. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Here's a question. I'm curious how early tops top spins Zulu spins were incorporated into the dance from his recollection, since there seems to be some discrepancy about who was going to the floor and what years it started. So you kind of answered that one already.
Yeah,
Um, like it seems like maybe that was a move that was already out and you guys kind of perfected it.
that's all that was.
Yeah. So now let me ask you this, and since you go way back to the beginning of breaking, do you remember when dancing hit the floor? Because breaking is primarily a floor dance. Like nowadays, at least, when you see breaking, you do a quick top rock, and then you're primarily on the ground most of the time. Now, originally, it seemed like it was dancing up top, and at some point, it became a floor dance. Do you remember the dancing up top and when that transition happened, or do you just always remember it being on the floor? Like, did you see the spades dance or any of the old gangsters, and they used to dance up top? And
Yeah.
when did yeah? Can you speak on that and when it became a floor dance?
Well, being in the black space, we actually had a record that said, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm trying to think now. But being the black space, they did have a dance. We was in the baby space. We didn't understand none of that. All we do is go around and start trouble. But yeah, they did have a dance, and my main thing anyway was up top. I was an up top guy, and really, when I seen them hit the floor, I was amazed. I said, "Well, what in the world?" Then I seen the way they did it, and I caught them real quick. I caught them with the spins, we did things that, let's say, you remember the toy, with like a hula, where you put it on your ankle and you jump around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that with our legs.
Okay. Like the helicopter or
Yeah,
whatever.
okay, yeah, all right, the helicopter. Now, I was my recollection of history was saying that breakdancing on the floor was actually a defensive move. You ever heard that before?
No. No.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
spinning. You can knee them and all kind of stuff with your feet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, crazy, but we learned from other people actually because we didn't invent that stuff.
Okay. Got you. Got you. So you're saying that when you first got into dancing, obviously you were up dancing up top, and some people started bringing it to the floor, so you picked it up really really quick, and that's how you got into it. So all right, cool. That makes is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. So let me ask you. Got a couple more questions. Not too much. I don't want to take up too much of your time. If anybody, you guys out there have any questions, we're gonna wrap up here soon. So go ahead and post any questions you might have for Brother Zambu. But somebody said James Brown's soul power, spade power, is what many spades spoke on. Meaning, I think that was that the song, that the anthem for the spades.
That's the possibility, and I mean, like I said, I'm old school. I'm 65 years old. I know they had a dance march. I remember a march, like they stomped their boots because we
Yeah,
wear boots, so they had a dance for the black space in our area anyway.
got you, got you. Okay, all right. So, do you remember the now there's a flyer of this battle between the Zulu Kings and the
Chaka Zulu.
Shaka Zulus that happened in 1977. Now, the flyer is now in the Smithsonian
Really?
Museum. It's in the Smithsonian Museum in Washington D.C. So it's a pretty, it's a nice piece of hip hop history.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the first flyers to have B-boy battle on it. So I believe it's the first flyer that has a B-boy battle on it. Um, Now you were DJing that battle. Can you talk to us about that battle? Is there anything you could say about anything you remember? What was that? What was that like? That whole experience?
Well, Ahmed, he the one, kind of orchestrated. I could just only stay for the little bit of duration, but um, they didn't win. They was nice, but they didn't win. We had too much for them. You know, they wanted to be a part of Zulu Kings, but we we had to take interviews and see what they how they routine was, B-boy routine, and we'll say yeah or nay. I mean, that's the way it goes. You can't get mad about that. You had to beat one of us anyway to really get in, and we were dangerous. But they broke off. I think Wade asked Africa Bambaataa, or Bambaataa said start your own. So Bambaataa must have gave him. Um, there's another group called the Shaka Zulu.
Mhm. Right.
So he didn't really care who he. Like Ahmed said, he had an interview as well. They both was talking
Hmm.
doing the interview, and he said that Wade didn't care who he got. He got everybody from foreign countries trying to get involved in this. I don't know whether he's trying to start a movement or what, but it was all about peace, love, and happiness.
Right. 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 Right.
About
Okay.
no trying to get no games together. But we battled them, and I'm surprised that it's Smithsonian Institute.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
lose.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you were the DJ.
I was the DJ, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously you didn't actually battle in the battle. You was on the turntables.
Right.
So what was that like DJing? Did you hit them with that playlist that you were just talking about?
Sure, I did. I had to. I looked out for people, man. If I'm a DJ, I'm gonna hit the beat with when they do their routine and hit the floor. The beat done change.
Hmm.
And when they dancing, I don't know what's going on really with that, but you want to hear a record, play a record. I'm doing my thing, but it ain't like looking out for the brothers, the Zulu
Got you.
King.
Got you. Got you. That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay. Now, what about I want to okay, here's one more question for you. It says, was Little Zambu known for any particular style or move? And who taught him? Was he dancing already when you met him? Or was he inspired by you? Why did he get the name Little Zambu? That's a good question.
Okay, his name was Peter. God bless his soul. He rest in peace. He was Puerto Rican, and like I said, I welcomed him in. He was a little partner. He get into the parties free. Uh, whatever going on with me, can go on with him. All he had to do is tell me what's going on. But boys breaking, I think he might have a few moves, but it didn't matter to me because he was like he looked up to me, and I said, well, you want to be Lil Zambu? Come on in. I ain't nobody came to me and said that, so that was something unique, and that was
Okay. So he actually looked up to you and he came to you and said, "Can I be Little Zambu?" It wasn't a type of thing where you said I've been
right.
teaching you. I'm gonna make you Little Zambu. It
No,
was the other way around. He was like, "Can I be Little Zambu?" Is that correct?
correct. That's correct.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. All right. So let me ask you this. Um, have you I don't know if you've been keeping up. Do you watch any? Have you seen any breaking lately? Any b-boys? You know, did you watch? I know it's I don't want to talk about the Olympics and all that, but um,
You're going that way with it though.
I don't want to talk about that because we all know the answer to that. But as far as breaking, but apart from the girl and the Australian girl, apart from that, breaking nowadays compared to when you first got into it and stuff like that, what is your impression of it? What do you think about it now compared to when you used to do it in the very early days, beginning of breaking?
okay, like I said, it was the floor routine. You had to be nice up top as well on the bottom. So I mean, your footwork had to come in on the top. So now, then we had the, little boom box. Everybody walk around with a shoulder boom box, and then you put it down, and you might get a crowd. Depends on what kind of music coming out of it. And uh, I want to say the brothers in Bronxville, but they was doing their thing. And then we had the Puerto Ricans come in, and these cats sometimes they carry cardboard. I
Mm-hmm.
said, what are they carrying cardboard for? I would go into the party or, outside. I would ruin a pair of sneakers. I had some Pumas. I had some beer flyers. I mean, I would just scar the side of my sneakers up. And I tell my mother, I said, I need another pair. And she said, I just bought you. So I would get upset, but I'll get over it. She gets me another pair anyway. But now the cardboard came into effect and they spin it on their head. So I said,
Mm-hmm.
well, hey then, I don't know if I can do that. Because I got a little beanie up there right now, and that ain't from on the
Right.
floor. But then it came with that, and then like it just progressed to where now it's just a physical exercise that we gonna break a leg all the way.
Right. Right. Right.
I'm
Right. Right.
It's simple.
Okay. Got you. Got you. So you're kind of saying now. Now I want to clarify this, and I don't really like to go into this topic,
Mm-hmm.
because it's it's been rehashed so many times. But just for clarification, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in the early days when you guys first started breaking, obviously the majority was African American, and I'm sure that there was Puerto Ricans and possibly others, in there, but it wasn't exclusively African Americans, but I would probably say majority, and there was other races in there mixed in as well.
Sure.
Now, as time went on, the Puerto Ricans kind of like dominated. They began to dominate the scene as far as breaking goes, and
Yeah.
take it to the next level. Now, would you say that's true, or what could you speak on about that?
Sure, that's true. That oh man, come on. The thing about it, we was trying to bring all this music on, out the window. We got different sounds coming out the window in the park, in the gym, behind the gym. I tell you, you can party anywhere, parking lot. It doesn't matter. As long as you got a system, man, people carry that stuff wherever you want to carry it. They'd be happy to carry it just to hear some music. But oh yeah, the Puerto Ricans had dominated the scene now, or I mean, we kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to say retire, but that's not the case. They were just nice. They learned just like we learned. They became they became the masters, not the students anymore.
Right, 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 right. They would say they were the majority. Um, they became the majority. Before, and they were probably a minority,
Right.
but they were there and they did participate. Like you said, Little Zambu was Puerto Rican.
That's right. Exactly right.
Okay, all right. Now, what are you up to now, Zambu? I'm just curious. I'm happy you're here. You're interviewing with us and everything. So very grateful, grateful for your time and everything.
Yeah.
But I've been dancing for since 1997,
Uh,
and this is our first real interaction. What have you been up to? Are you up to anything? Are you still doing the hip hop thing? You still DJ? Are you behind the scenes, or you family man? What you up to now, Zambu?
well, I'm down here in Statesboro, Georgia. If anybody know where that's at, that's almost by Savannah. I stayed in Atlanta for a little while, but I want to get back into it because I just got the ear for the music. I mean, a lot of people play a lot of stuff and it sounds good, but you got to put the lyrics with it. I had other MCs who just grab the mic and they want to talk and spit what they got going on, and I admire them for doing that too because they got a lot to say. But now I don't know how big this is, but I might have to jump back in.
Got you. Got you. Okay. All right. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Yeah. We would love to have you. I'm extending an open invitation right now. We're doing the Mighty Zulu Kings anniversary.
Yeah.
It'll be in the fall this year. And
August.
so yeah, I would love to personally invite
I want
you. Yeah, it's gonna be in New York. It's gonna be in New York.
that would be that. I
Yeah.
want to go to that museum too because they said they got the flyers and stuff like that. We had like cake, like I told you when the talent show thing going on. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if anybody else got their cakes, but I think it might be worth some money.
Yo, if you could get a hold of those capes, that that would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. I'll be willing. I'll be willing to make my own cape. I'll see. I want a cape. But yeah, man. So like I said, we doing the MCK anniversary. If you want
Uh-huh.
to be involved, you are more than happy. We'll stay connected.
Yeah,
And
sure.
on behalf of MZK, the Mighty Zulu Kings, under the leadership of Alien S since 2000, year 2000, I want to say thank you for your contributions. Thank you for being one of the originators. You're the one who came out with the original name. So if it wasn't for you, there would be no us. So I want to say thank you. I want to take this time just to kind of give you your flowers, and on behalf of all of MTK, I'm sure I'll speak for everybody. And so, is there any last words? Anything else you would like to say, brother?
Man, I'd appreciate everybody. I would appreciate the Zulu Master, the Zulu Kings, everybody around the world, because I'm here to show love, number peace, love, and joy for everybody and everywhere. So I mean, I'm gonna keep doing what I do. I hope I can anyway, but I would like that support. I mean, Zambu.
Okay. All right. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Thanks again for your time. And like I said, we'll stay connected. All right.
Sure
You
thing.
enjoy. Appreciate you, and thank you for your time, man. You enjoy the rest of your day. All right, brother. We'll stay connected.
Much love.
All right. Much love, bro. Peace.